Billy Thompson was playing with his toy truck in the backyard when it happened. The 8-year-old boy was making engine noises and pushing the red truck through the dirt. His mother, Lisa, was inside making dinner. She could see him through the kitchen window. One moment, Billy was there. The next moment, he was gone. Lisa dropped the pan she was holding. She ran outside, calling his name. "Billy, Billy, where are you?" She looked behind the shed, under the porch, and in all his favorite hiding spots. Billy was nowhere to be found. The police came quickly. Officer Dan Miller searched the yard with his flashlight, even though it was still light outside. He found Billy's toy truck in the dirt, but no sign of the boy. There were no footprints leading away from the yard. The gate was still locked from the inside. "When did you last see him?" Officer Miller asked Lisa. "Just 2 minutes ago," Lisa said, tears running down her face. "I was watching him through the window. I only looked away for a second to check the stove." The next day, more police came. They brought dogs to smell for Billy's scent. The dogs walked around the yard, sniffing everything, but they could not find a trail leading anywhere. It was like Billy had just disappeared into thin air. 3 days later, it happened again. Emma Rodriguez was 6 years old. She was playing on the swings at Lincoln Elementary School. Her teacher, Mrs. Green, was watching all the children during recess. Emma was laughing and swinging high into the air. Mrs. Green turned to help another child who had fallen down. When she looked back at the swings, Emma was gone. The swing was still moving back and forth, but Emma was not there. The school called the police right away. They also called Emma's father, Carlos. He worked at the bank downtown and came running to the school. His hands were shaking as he talked to the police. "Where is my daughter?" Carlos asked. "How can a child just disappear from a playground full of people?" The police had no answers. They searched the whole school and the neighborhood around it. They asked every person they could find if they had seen Emma. Nobody had seen anything strange. Nobody had seen anyone take Emma away. 1 week later, Jake Morrison disappeared. The 10-year-old boy was camping with his family in Pine Creek State Park. His mother, Helen, had sent him to get firewood near their tent. The family campsite was only 50 feet away from the woods. Jake's father called his name when he did not come back after 10 minutes. "Jake, come back here." The whole family started looking for him. They found some of the firewood he had been collecting, but Jake was gone. The park rangers came with more dogs and bright lights. They searched all night long. The woods were thick, but the rangers knew every trail. They found no sign of Jake anywhere. His father sat by the cold campfire and cried. "He's a good boy," his father told the rangers. "He would not just run away. Something took him." The local news started talking about the missing children. They showed pictures of Billy, Emma, and Jake on television. The reporter said the police had no leads and no idea what was happening to the children. Then Sophie Williams vanished from her own bedroom. The 9-year-old girl was sleeping in her bed on the second floor of her family's house. Her father, Greg, had checked on her at 10 o'clock before going to bed himself. Sophie was sleeping peacefully with her stuffed bear Dot. At 3 in the morning, Sophie's mother went to check on her. The bed was empty. The window was closed and locked from the inside. The door had been closed all night. Sophie's stuffed bear was still on the pillow, but Sophie was gone. Greg called the police immediately. When they arrived, they could not believe what they saw. There was no way anyone could have taken Sophie from that room. The window was too high and still locked. The door had been closed. Yet somehow, Sophie had disappeared. Agent Kate Murphy came from the FBI office in Des Moines. She was a tall woman with short brown hair who had worked on missing children cases for 15 years. She had never seen anything like this. 4 children in 2 weeks. she said to the local police chief. All taken without leaving any trace. No witnesses, no evidence, nothing. Dr. Ryan Clark arrived the next day. He worked for NASA and studied strange things that happened in space. He brought computers and special equipment that could measure energy in the air. I need to check something, he told Agent Murphy. He set up his machines in Billy's backyard first. The machines started beeping and showing numbers on their screens. What is it? Agent Murphy asked. Dr. Clark looked worried. There was a huge burst of energy here 3 days ago. The same type of energy that we sometimes detect from space. But it was right here in this backyard. They went to the school playground next. Dr. Clark's machines found the same energy signature. Then they went to the campsite and Sophie's house. The same strange energy readings were at all 4 places. What does this mean? Agent Murphy asked. I don't know yet, Dr. Clark said. But these energy readings are not from anything on Earth. Whatever took these children, it's not human. The parents of the missing children met at the community center. Lisa Thompson, Carlos Rodriguez, Helen Morrison, and Greg Williams sat around a table with red eyes from crying. They had formed a group to help find their children. The police are not telling us everything, Carlos said. They know something. They're not saying. We have to keep looking, Lisa said. Our children are out there somewhere. I can feel it. But they had no idea that their children were already very far away, farther than they could ever imagine. And the things that had taken their children were just getting started. Around the world, more children began to disappear. In Japan, a boy vanished from his school. In Brazil, a girl disappeared from her family's farm. In England, twins were taken from their bedroom. All in the same way. All without leaving any trace. Something was hunting human children. And soon, the whole world would know about it. The ships appeared on a Tuesday morning. People all over the world looked up at the sky and saw something impossible. Huge crystal structures hung in the air above every major city. They were bigger than football stadiums and seemed to glow with their own light. The ships did not look like anything humans had ever built. They were made of what looked like glass or crystal, but they bent the sunlight in strange ways. Sometimes they seemed invisible. Sometimes they sparkled like diamonds. They made no sound at all. Dr. Ryan Clark was in his office at NASA when the alarm started going off. Every computer screen in the building showed the same thing. Unknown objects in Earth's orbit. Hundreds of them. Sir, we're getting readings from every satellite we have, his assistant said. These things just appeared out of nowhere. Dr. Clark ran to the main control room. The big screens showed radar images of the alien ships. They were positioned all around the planet, like they were watching every country at once. How many are there? He asked. We count at least 300 ships, the radar operator said. Maybe more. They're not showing up clearly on our equipment. President Claire Harrison was in a meeting about the economy when her chief of staff burst into the room. Madam President, you need to see this right now. They hurried to the Situation Room, where General Peter Collins was already waiting. The general was a big man with gray hair who had been a soldier for 30 years. He looked worried. What's our status? The president asked. Unknown, ma'am, General Collins said. We have unidentified aircraft over every major population center. On Earth, they appeared at the same time all over the world. We don't know what they want. On the big screen, they could see the crystal ship hanging over Washington, D.C. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Have they tried to communicate? President Harrison asked. Not yet, ma'am. They're just waiting. Around the world. People stopped what they were doing to stare at the sky. In New York, traffic came to a complete stop as people got out of their cars to look up. In London, Crowds gathered in the streets, pointing at the ship above Big Ben. In Tokyo, millions of people watched from their windows, that the children who had been taken were not forgotten. Lisa Thompson stood in her backyard looking up at the ship. Over Cedar Falls. It was smaller than the ones over the big cities, but it was still there. "Do you think," she said to her husband, "do you think they have Billy?" Before he could answer, every television, radio, and phone on Earth started making the same sound at the same time. It was not exactly noise, but more like music played by instruments that did not exist. Then a voice spoke. It came from every speaker on the planet at once. The voice was calm and cold, like someone reading from a book. "People of Earth," the voice said, "we are the Zephyrians. We come from the stars to study life in this part of the galaxy." President Harrison and her team listened in the Situation Room. Dr. Clark listened at NASA. The parents of missing children listened in their homes. Everyone on Earth was listening. "We have taken samples of your species for research," the voice continued. "Your young ones will help us understand how your species develops. This is an honor. You should be grateful that your children can serve a greater purpose." Lisa Thompson screamed. Carlos Rodriguez threw his coffee cup at the television. Around the world, parents who had been wondering about their missing children now knew the horrible truth. "We do not wish to harm your planet," the Zephyrian voice said. "We only take what we need for science. Do not try to interfere. You do not have the intelligence to understand our work." The voice stopped. The strange music faded away. The crystal ships continued to hang in the sky, silent and watchful. President Harrison was the first to speak. "Get me the leaders of every country on Earth, right now." Within 2 hours, every president, prime minister, and king was on a video call together. It was the first time in history that all world leaders had spoken at the same time. "These aliens have taken our children," President Harrison said. "We need to get them back." "But how?" asked the Prime Minister of England. "Look at their ships. Our weapons might not even scratch them." General Collins had been studying the ships with his best people. "We've tried scanning them with everything we have. Radar, heat sensors, X-rays. Most of our equipment can't even detect them properly." Dr. Alan Foster joined the call from his laboratory. He was Earth's best expert on the possibility of alien life. He had spent his whole career wondering if aliens existed. Now he wished he had been wrong. "We need to try talking to them," Dr. Foster said. "Maybe we can negotiate." "Negotiate," General Collins said. "They took our children and called it science. What is there to negotiate?" President Harrison made the decision. "We try diplomacy first, but we also prepare for other options." They sent messages to the alien ships using every type of communication they could think of. Radio waves, light signals, even mathematical equations. The messages all said the same thing. "We want our children back. Please talk to us." The Zephyrians answered the next day. The same cold voice spoke from every device on Earth again. "You wish to communicate? Very well. We will explain once so that even your simple minds can understand." Commander Nexus appeared on every screen in the world. He was tall and thin with skin that looked like it was made of metal. He had 4 arms and large black eyes that never blinked. When he spoke, his mouth did not move the right way. "I am Commander Nexus of the Zephyrian Research Fleet," he said. "Your species is young and primitive. Your children's minds are flexible, which makes them useful for our studies." "We demand the return of our children," President Harrison said. Into the cameras, knowing the aliens were listening, Commander Nexus made a sound that might have been laughing. "You demand? You have no power to demand anything. Look at your primitive weapons. Look at your simple technology. You are like insects trying to negotiate with giants." "Our children are not specimens," President Harrison said. They are living beings with families who love them. Love, Commander Nexus said the word like it tasted bad. An inefficient emotion that clouds judgment. This is why your species will never advance beyond your small planet. Dr. Foster tried a different approach. What can we offer you in exchange for the children? Nothing, Commander Nexus said. You have nothing we want except the specimens we have already taken. We will be finished with our research in your time measurement of 6 months. After that, what remains of the specimens will be returned. What remains? Lisa Thompson screamed at her television. What are you doing to them? But Commander Nexus had already disappeared from the screens. That night, the world's leaders met again. Everyone was angry and scared. We have to do something, said the President of France. But what? Asked the Chancellor of Germany. Their technology is hundreds of years ahead of ours. General Collins spoke quietly. Maybe not. Everyone looked. At him. Dr. Clark found energy signatures at the abduction sites, the general said. The same energy these ships use. If we can understand their technology, maybe we can fight back. That's impossible, Dr. Foster said. It would take decades to understand alien science. We don't have decades, President Harrison said. We have 6 months. The aliens had made a mistake. They thought humans were simple and weak. They thought parents would just accept the loss of their children. They thought Earth would surrender without a fight, but they had never seen what humans could do when someone threatened their children. The war was about to begin. Dr. Maya Patel had not slept in 3 days. She sat in her laboratory surrounded by computer screens and alien energy readings. Coffee cups covered every surface. Her black hair was messy and her clothes were wrinkled, but her eyes were bright. With determination. There has to be a pattern, she said to herself, looking at the energy signatures Dr. Clark had found. Everything follows rules, even alien technology. Maya was one of the smartest engineers on Earth. She had built machines that other people said were impossible. Now she was trying to understand technology from another world. The governments of Earth had given her everything she asked for. Money, equipment, and the best scientists from every country. They all worked together in a secret facility built under the Nevada desert. Dr. San Rodriguez worked next to Maya. He was a physicist who studied the smallest parts of atoms. Look at this, he said, pointing to his computer screen. The energy signature has a repeating pattern every 0.3 seconds. That's the quantum frequency, Maya said. She had been learning about quantum physics for weeks. The aliens use quantum entanglement to move their ships. Lucy Kim looked up from her workstation. She was an engineer who built satellites for NASA. If they use quantum entanglement, then every ship is connected to every other ship. Which means, Maya said, getting excited, if we can track one ship, we can track them all. Above ground, Lieutenant Colonel Jack Norton was training soldiers for a mission that seemed impossible. The men and women he chose were the best fighters from every country's military. They had to learn to work together even though they spoke different languages and came from different cultures. Listen up, Norton said to his team. We don't know exactly what we're going to face out there, but we know the human children are depending on us. Captain Nicole Brooks was one of the volunteers. She had been a test pilot for 10 years and had flown every type of aircraft the military had. She was not afraid of anything that flew. How do we fight something we don't understand? Asked Chris Davis, an explosives expert from Australia. We do what humans do best, Norton said. We adapt. We improvise. We never give up. A breakthrough came when Maya discovered something amazing. The alien ships all shared the same quantum frequency. It was like they were all part of one giant machine. I can build a tracker, Maya told the world leaders during their daily video meeting. If we can get close enough to one of their ships, We can follow the quantum trail back to wherever they're keeping the children. How close? Asked President Harrison. Very close, Maya said. Someone would have to actually touch one of their ships. General Collins frowned. Our fighter jets can't get near them. Every time we try, their ships just disappear and reappear somewhere else. Then we don't use jets, Captain Brooks said. She had been listening to the meeting from the training facility. We build something new. Working together, Maya and her team created something that had never existed before. They called it the Defiance. It was part human technology and part alien science that they had learned from studying the energy signatures. The ship looked strange. It was smaller than a fighter jet, but bigger than a car. The hull was made of metal that could bend light like the alien ships did. It had engines that used quantum entanglement to move through space. It's beautiful, Amy Walsh said. She was a communications expert who would handle all the radio equipment on the mission. Does it actually work? We're about to find out, Maya said. The plan was dangerous. Captain Brooks would lead a team of 12 people into space. They would find the alien research station and rescue the children. Most military experts said it was suicide, but parents around the world were begging them to try. Lisa Thompson came to the Nevada facility to see the ship. She brought a picture of Billy to give to Captain Brooks. Please bring my son home, Lisa said, tears in her eyes. I will, Captain Brooks promised. I have a daughter too. I know what you're going through. While the Defiance was being built, other teams worked on different parts of the plan. Dr. Rebecca Stone was a doctor who specialized in treating children. She studied everything the aliens had said about their experiments, trying to figure out how to help the kids when they were rescued. The aliens mentioned genetic modification. Dr. Stone told the medical team, "We need to be ready for anything." Sergeant Mike Torres trained with weapons that had been modified with alien technology. The bullets were made of metal that could disrupt quantum fields. Nobody knew if they would work, but they had to try something. Dave Hunter was an engineer who specialized in sabotage. His job was to figure out how to destroy the alien facility after they rescued the children. If we're going to hit them, we might as well hit them hard, Dave said. Make sure they never do this again. 3 months after the aliens first appeared, the Defiance was ready for its test flight. Captain Brooks climbed into the pilot's seat. The controls looked like a mix of airplane instruments and alien technology. Quantum engines online, Maya said from the control room. Communication systems ready, Amy Walsh reported from her station. Here we go, Captain Brooks said. She pushed the throttle forward. The Defiance disappeared. For a moment, everyone thought the ship had been destroyed. Then Captain Brooks' voice came over the radio. I'm here, she said, but I'm not where I was a second ago. The ship had traveled 50 miles in an instant. The quantum engines worked. Can you get back? Maya asked. Working on it, Captain Brooks said. A few seconds later, the Defiance appeared right where it had started. Incredible, Dr. Rodriguez said. You just proved that humans can travel faster than light. But the real test came when they tried to track an alien ship. Captain Brooks flew the Defiance high into the atmosphere, heading toward the crystal ship that hung over Las Vegas. The alien ship noticed the Defiance immediately. It turned and started moving away, but Captain Brooks followed. The Defiance's quantum tracker locked onto the alien ship's energy signature. I've got it, Captain Brooks said. I can follow this signal anywhere. The aliens tried to lose her. They jumped from place to place using their quantum drives. But the Defiance stayed with them every time. Finally, the alien ship gave up and returned to its position over the city. But it was too late. The tracker had recorded the ship's quantum signature. We can follow them now, Maya announced to the world. We know how to find where they're keeping our children. President Harrison addressed the world that night. Tomorrow, Our bravest men and women will launch a rescue mission. They will bring our children home. But the aliens were listening too. Commander Nexus appeared on screens around the world again. "Foolish humans," he said. "You think your primitive technology can challenge us? We have been traveling between stars for 1,000 years. You have barely left your own planet. Watch us," President Harrison said to the cameras, knowing the aliens would hear. That night, Captain Brooks and her team made their final preparations. They had studied the alien technology for months. They had trained for every situation they could think of. But they knew they were probably flying to their deaths. "Any regrets?" Chris Davis asked as they walked to the Defiance. "Just one, Captain." Brooks said, "I wish we had a bigger ship." The families of the missing children gathered to watch the launch. Lisa Thompson held Billy's toy truck. Carlos Rodriguez carried Emma's favorite doll. They stood together under the stars, hoping that tomorrow their children would be coming home. In space, the alien research station waited. Commander Nexus and his scientists continued their experiments, confident that no human technology could threaten them. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The Defiance moved through space like a ghost. Captain Nicole Brooks watched the stars change as the quantum engines carried them farther from home than any human had ever traveled. The alien research station was hidden in an asteroid field around a distant star. "How much farther?" asked Chris Davis from his weapons station. "2 more jumps," Amy Walsh said, reading the quantum tracker. "The signal is getting stronger." Dr. Rebecca Stone checked her medical equipment one more time. She had brought everything she could think of to help the children when they found them. Medicines, bandages, and machines to check if the kids were hurt. "Remember the plan," Captain Brooks said to her team over the radio. "We get in, find the children, and get out. No heroes, no unnecessary risks." But everyone on the ship knew that the whole mission was an unnecessary risk. They were 12 humans going up against an alien research station that probably had hundreds of guards. The final quantum jump brought them to the edge of the asteroid field. What they saw there made everyone stop talking. The research station was huge. It was built inside the largest asteroid, with crystal towers growing out of the rock like frozen lightning. Ships moved in and out of docking bays that glowed with alien energy. The whole structure pulsed with light. "That thing is bigger than a city," Sergeant Mike Torres whispered. "And it's heavily defended," Dave Hunter added, pointing to his sensors. "I count at least 50 guard ships patrolling the area." Captain Brooks studied the station through her binoculars. "There," she said, pointing to a section that looked different from the rest. "Section 7. That's where Dr. Clark's data says they're keeping specimens from Earth." Amy Walsh had been listening to alien communications since they arrived. "I'm picking up radio chatter. They're talking about feeding time for the subjects in Section 7. That's got to be our kids." Dr. Stone said the plan was to land the Defiance on a small asteroid near the station. From there, they would use jetpacks to fly across space and enter through a maintenance port that Dave Hunter had identified. "Once we're inside, we move fast and stay quiet," Captain Brooks said. "Chris, you and Mike take point. Amy, stay with the communications. Rebecca, you're with me. Dave, find that power core and get ready to blow this place if things go wrong." They suited up in space armor that had been modified with alien technology. The suits could bend light to make them nearly invisible. They also had small quantum communicators so they could talk to each other without the aliens hearing. Getting to the station was the easy part. The maintenance port was exactly where Dave Hunter said it would be. The aliens had not changed their security since Dr. Clark analyzed their signals months ago. Inside the station, everything was strange. The hallways were too tall and too wide for humans. The lights came from crystals in the walls that pulsed like heartbeats. The air smelled like metal and something else they could not identify. "This way," Amy Walsh said, following the signals from her tracker. She had learned to read alien computer systems during their training. They moved through corridors filled with tanks and machines. Some of the tanks held creatures they had never seen before. Things with too many eyes or arms that moved in ways that hurt to watch. "How many different species are they studying?" Dr. Stone asked. "Too many," Captain Brooks said. "But we're only here for hours." The first sign of trouble came when they reached Section 7. There were guards. The Zephyrians were tall and thin with metallic skin and forearms. They carried weapons that hummed with energy. "2 guards at the main entrance," Mike Torres reported. "I can take them out quietly." "Do it," Captain Brooks said. That Mike Torres was the best soldier any of them had ever seen. He moved like a shadow and struck like lightning. The 2 guards were down before they knew humans were in the facility. Inside Section 7, they found horror. Hundreds of crystal chambers lined the walls. Each chamber held a child. Not just human children, but young creatures from dozens of different worlds. Some looked almost human. Others were so alien that it was hard to tell if they were even alive. "There," Dr. Stone said, pointing to a row of chambers. "Human children." Billy Thompson was in the 3rd chamber from the left. He was floating in some kind of liquid, with wires attached to his head. His eyes were closed, but his chest was moving. He was alive. Emma Rodriguez was next to him. Then Jake Morrison. Then Sophie Williams. All the children who had been taken from Earth were there, along with hundreds of others. "What have they done to them?" Amy Walsh asked, looking at the machines connected to each chamber. Dr. Stone was scanning Billy with her medical equipment. "They're alive, but the aliens have been changing them. Genetic modifications, brain alterations. I don't know how much damage has been done." "Can you reverse it?" Captain Brooks asked. "I don't know. Maybe some of it. We need to get them out of there first." Dave Hunter was working on the chamber controls. "These systems are more complex than anything we studied. It's going to take time to figure out how to safely remove the children." That was when the alarm started. Red lights flashed throughout. Section 7. A voice spoke in the alien language, but Amy Walsh's translator told them what it meant. "Intruders detected. Security teams to Section 7. How much time do you need?" Captain Brooks asked Dave. "At least 10 minutes to safely extract each child. We have maybe 2 minutes before this place is crawling with guards." Mike Torres said, Captain Brooks made a decision that would save lives and start a war. "Dave, forget safe extraction. Get those kids out now, any way you can. Rebecca, be ready to treat them for whatever happens. Everyone else, prepare for a fight." Dave Hunter started breaking the crystal chambers with tools from his pack. The liquid spilled out onto the floor, and the children started waking up. Billy Thompson opened his eyes first. He was confused and scared, but he was alive. "Billy," Dr. Stone said, catching him as he fell from the broken chamber. "It's okay, sweetie. We're here to take you home." Emma Rodriguez woke up next, then Jake Morrison and Sophie Williams. All the human children were alive, but they looked different. Their eyes were brighter. Their movements were faster. The aliens had changed them, but they were still human where it mattered. "Mama?" Sophie Williams asked in a weak voice. "She's waiting for you at home," Captain Brooks said. "But first, we have to get out of here." The first wave of alien guards came through the main door. Mike Torres and Chris Davis were ready for them. The modified weapons worked perfectly. The quantum-disrupting bullets went right through the aliens. Energy shields, but there were too many of them. "More coming through the side passages," Amy Walsh reported. "We're surrounded." That was when the human children surprised everyone. Billy Thompson, weak from months of experiments, picked up a piece of broken crystal and threw it at an alien guard. The crystal moved faster than should have been possible and hit the alien. Right between the eyes, Emma Rodriguez pointed at a group of guards, and somehow their weapons stopped working. Jake Morrison moved faster than the eye could follow, helping Dr. Stone carry the younger children. Sophie Williams seemed to know which way to go without being told. "The modifications," Dr. Stone said in amazement. "The aliens enhanced their abilities, but they're still human. They're still our kids." The battle became a running fight through the station. More guards came from every direction, but the humans fought with a desperation that the aliens had never seen before. They used tactics that made no sense, but somehow worked. Dave Hunter stayed behind to plant explosives on the station's power. "Core, go!" he shouted to the others. "I'll give you as much time as I can." They fought their way back to the maintenance port, where they had left their equipment. But the Defiance was gone. Alien ships had found it and destroyed it. Now what? Chris Davis asked, as more guards closed in on their position. That was when Billy Thompson spoke up. The 8-year-old boy had been quiet since waking up, but now his eyes were bright with an idea that should not have been possible for a child his age. "The transport ships," he said, pointing to the alien vessels in the docking bay below them. "I know how to fly them." "How could you possibly know that?" Captain Brooks asked. "They put the knowledge in our heads," Emma Rodriguez said. "All of U.S. We know things we shouldn't know." "Can you really fly those ships?" Amy Walsh asked. "Yes," Sophie Williams said. "And we know how to find Earth." The escape became a race against time. The human adults fought off waves of alien guards while the children, enhanced by alien science but driven by human determination, prepared one of the transport ships for flight. As they lifted off from the station, Dave Hunter's explosives went off. The power core exploded in a chain reaction that tore through the research facility. Decades of alien research was destroyed in seconds, but their troubles were not over. Alien pursuit ships were already following them, and Earth was very far away. The real test was just beginning. The stolen alien transport ship shook as enemy fire hit its shields. Billy Thompson sat in the pilot's chair, his small hands moving over controls that no human child should have been able to understand. But the alien experiments had changed him. He knew things now that he had never learned. "More ships coming from the left," Emma Rodriguez said from the sensor station. The 6-year-old girl was reading alien displays like she had been doing it her whole life. Captain Nicole Brooks watched in amazement as the children flew the ship better than most trained pilots. The alien modifications had given them knowledge, but it was their human courage that made them fight back. "How long until we reach Earth?" Dr. Rebecca Stone asked. She was treating the other rescued children. Some were from species that looked almost human. Others were so different that she was not sure how to help them. 3 hours, Sophie Williams said from the navigation controls. "But the Zephyrians will call their main fleet. They'll be waiting for us." Jake Morrison looked up from the weapons station. "Good. I want them to be waiting." The adults exchanged worried looks. The children had been changed by their time with the aliens. They were smarter, faster, and stronger than before. But they were also angry in a way that children should never have to be. "It's not just the modifications," Amy Walsh said quietly. To Captain Brooks, "Look at their eyes. They've seen things that no kid should see." Back on Earth, Dr. Maya Patel was working frantically in her laboratory. The quantum tracker had told them that the rescue mission was on its way home, but it also showed that a massive alien fleet was moving toward Earth. "How many ships?" President Claire Harrison asked during the emergency video call with world leaders. "Over 1,000, Maya said. "The entire Zephyrian war fleet. They're not just trying to get their specimens back. They're coming to punish U.S. General Peter Collins looked grim. "Our defenses won't hold against that many ships." "Then we better make sure they count," President Harrison said. What do we have? The past 3 months had not been wasted. Every country on Earth had been building weapons based on the alien technology that Maya's team had figured out. The quantum-disrupting missiles were untested, but they were humanity's. Best Hope. Admiral Susan Parker commanded the hastily built Earth Defense Fleet from her flagship.